There we go. We're live. Time to chit chat. What's going on, everybody? Gap down and fade day. Haven't seen one of these days in the markets in a while. Um, Off of Trump's little press conference there after hours on Wednesday, coming into Thursday, April 3rd. That gap down held and stayed heavy. And that was the bias I came into today with. And paid handsomely. A nice day. So I can review some stuff from today. And then I'll burn through scans. And then hop on out. ICCT was definitely one of the main watches, looking for that backside bounce, dips verse 2. We got this little pop here in pre-market. Some volume came in, and now it's up a buck from those $2. So it's a bit extended. It was already up like 15% by market open. And then once market opened, it was straight up and never offered a pull. You would have had to chase it and just hope that you were right. Was a really nice backside bounce, but I chose to just leave it alone. What's going on? Sam, Golan, John. Never liked the risk reward, low a day, red to green, embrace the cheat. Yeah, ICCT, I don't think there's really a world where I'm going to be buying this just blindly off the open. It was a nice setup coming into today. The exact thesis that once it was over these levels, shorts were in there from those mid twos. So they were in a bind, hence the added fuel to that squeeze. Rather than just a pop and drop backside bounce, you had the added pressure, buying pressure of those shorts squeezing and blowing out. So nice one there. NMAX, I was looking at that one for a backside bounce as well. This one we got some open consolidation. There was the high right there. Pulled back, double top, low a day breakdown. So I figured this low a day breakdown was typically the one that I get shaked out on. Volume comes in, breaks highs. I buy high, risking low a day. And then we get this little trend break. So I stopped out there. And then a couple hours later, the exact move I was looking for happened. And just ended up happening without me. So those first green days, they weren't super easy, especially in overall down market where everything's fading. Try to have a bull bias on a couple names was tough. Good day for bounce setups. I love markets crashing. Left ICCT alone. Took the NMAX. And the bounces on Lulu. Good day. I'd take 2 trades, but was worth it. Nice. Yeah, as long as you manage risk. I imagine this little 42 stop out was pretty consistent across anyone who was trying to bounce this. And then once it reclaimed VWAP, either like a 40s entry or like a 50 entry, somewhere around there. Risk reward still makes sense, but nice move nonetheless. Reddit, I had joined this one. We had... what I was looking for was pops towards 105. I woke up fairly early today to see how the gap down. 4:30 is around 1:30 a.m. my time. And we got a slight little gap. It was gapping down a lot from the prior close, but a slight little gap up from where it closed after hours. And 103s was a lot better than 99s. And closer to those 105s. So I put on 103 with wide risk towards 113. And then was just going to be using the SPY as a guide. And market opened and it ripped straight up. So I covered all of my market related names right off the open. So I was in there from pre, Took $3 a share, and then once we get push, pull, hard crack, lower high, pops versus VWAP, failed fall through under 98.50s, and I covered a couple bucks too soon, but caught the meat nonetheless. I had tried one little bit right here, and it just didn't really amount to much, but grinding back the rest of the day. If SPY stays weak, this is in that gap at this point. Not as straightforward as something like MU was, right from 85 down to 74. This was the same thing, and I just never got back in there. Where we got, I covered right before open with the S&P. I shorted before open, covered right after the open with the S&P bouncing. So shorted the little pop, 83s with the idea of using this 85s as a guide. If it started to push and break through, I would have sized down. But we got a little pop into the open. We got a hard pull, and then SPY started spiking, so I sized down, covered. I didn't size down, I covered it all. And then this never offered any bounce. This was a linear seller in the tape trend, which is what I wanted Reddit to do, and it was just rounding, bottoming action. So a really good call on my part, but execution-wise, didn't do too well on it. GER covered that swing right at market open. So you can see all these market-related names. The SPY started bouncing off the open, so I covered every market-related short right off the open because I don't know if this gap down is going to flush and catch or if it's going to pop and stay heavy. So covering off the open worked on GER, worked on Reddit, worked on Qubit, was this 720s breakdown, multi-day breakdown, and it worked right here. I was leading through 730s, covered right off the open. So all these market-related names, CoreWeave was the other one. I would short this one here into this little 8 a.m. strength. Pops versus red to green. We get opening flush, SPY starts to bounce, cover. You'd avoid all of this chop. So it worked on everything except MU, and this one stayed relatively weak the whole day. So definitely a minimized opportunity on my end, but it is what it is. It happens. CoreWave. So I had that pre-market short and then covered off the open. And then we had this 54.40s failed fall through level from these couple dip and rips. Once we pull back, short a pop verse, it tries to break, stays heavy off VWAP, scale using these 55s as a guide, starts to stay heavy, and then dip and catch. So I covered that one for a loss. Ended up working, but I'm not around, so choppy name. GER I had covered, so those are all those covers from my entry up there. I showed MU, I showed NMAX, Qubit I showed, and Reddit I showed. So between Reddit and GER were my main ones, and then the other ones were plus or minus between those few names. So nice day. A lot of good short ops. So TCRT for first red day and QSG for first green day. Neither perfect, but maybe better with favorable gaps. I will touch on TCRT. Let me look at QSG. Yeah, dollar volume's too low. There's not really a ton of range back to the upside. I think, to me, this looks like hard crack, lower highs, bouncy ball setup, and I'd be looking for a 5 breakdown, failed fall through. It's a China walk-up name, so I don't really like to buy these anyways. But I think just zooming out here, I don't think I would look to buy it. I think I would look to short a 5 breakdown personally. It looks weak to me. And then TCRT. This one is that that mailer group that sends out pump names. I mentioned them yesterday. DWTX, CRVO. I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I've gone over them as they come around. GDHG was another one. So eventually this ends back at lows, but where it goes before then, I don't know. Typically the safest play on these is waiting for them to close red and short it in the afternoon for those first red days. Curvo, if you zoom here, multi-day run, first time it's weak, short it, get that second day. DWTX, you got an offering, it closed and then gap down an offering. GDHG, not as easy, but there's that red day. What else did we have? Was it Kidley? I think failed follow through. Yeah, but I'm thinking with this run here from $1 to $5, I think it's extended. Volume isn't speeding up, but price is. So I would just be hoping higher the better. Let it do its thing. If it is red and holding red, today briefly dipped red right at the open. I was watching it, but I saw it right around here. I recorded my screen and live traded with myself this morning so I could watch it back. I was commenting on this name that it was just on that break, it was super illiquid and didn't really look weak to me. Once it went red, it never held red. It held up. So I think the safest play is that overnight after it's weak, or like an afternoon trade on them. But I definitely have it on a main watch. I think it's going to be a really good opportunity. Just a matter of not getting squeezed out and exhausted beforehand. BIAF, another little red day. Arab, big squeeze there midday. SPWH. MU. Dollar Tree, I had posted this idea on Twitter. I've been scanning for 50-day and 200-day moving averages because that's the kind of setups that, like AVGO doing this little flag breakdown, Reddit doing this little flag breakdown, MU doing this multi-day breakdown, NVIDIA losing its 50-day and 200-day. So I had just been scanning the last little while. Ariel over at Investors Underground talks about it a bunch. So I had started scanning it, and if you zoom out, it's like a bigger picture bear flag where it's now tightening and consolidating at the lower end of that range. And if you zoom out, look how key this 60 level is. Back at like 2014, it was a breakout level. 2012 topped, 2013 topped, 2014 was a breakout, 2015 was support, 2017 was support, 2020 was support. So if that 60 gives away, I mean, that's going to look ugly. So I will definitely keep this name on watch. It broke below the 50-day and then need that 60 level to confirm bigger picture swing idea to the short side. So let me just run through scans and see if I pick up on any other ideas worth watching for myself. What else are you guys watching? Any other names? I'm starting to like these larger caps when the market's volatile. These daily chart patterns. Trading the same small cap chart patterns, but when the overall market's this volatile, it works pretty well, these large caps. Learning from Ariel and using his style on them. Yeah, IBO, that one had a nice PR there in after hours. The only trade I would really take on IBO is a straight up spike into 3. I think that would be a shortened to resistance idea. You're looking, Jersey Mike's looking at Tenon. Wow, that thing got wrecked. It's not something I would personally bounce. I would wait for a PR and volume day to pop back up into resistance and short like a 3 parabolic. But volume's only 700K. It's trading at $1. Every time it's tried, it's just gotten smoked. So not something personally I would trade, but what is APVO? This seems like it could be whoa, what the hell? I just lost my chart. That was weird. This seems like it could be like liquidity trap type. Through these 250s, you've got day 1 VWAP, 250. Goes parabolic, shorts are comfy, completely round trips, keeps them in there, gaps up. Is that offering? APVO offering at 850, yeah. So now you get offering, comes back on the offering and sideways all day. This is looking like liquidity trap to me. If this builds through 250, I think that could be a little T+1. Keep that one on watch. What's Tesla doing with all this market stuff? Not much. Not much. Tivik is starting to move, but just weird the way it's trading. The daily looks extended, but the way volume's trading on it is kind of weird. I'm curious to see when I click on my fader scan how populated it is. Holy smokes! That's the biggest I've ever seen. 687 results. I've seen it at 300 on ugly days. I've never seen it that big. My God. There's no way I'm going to go through 58 pages of faders. Not a chance. Hood. You guys see Robin or RH? Not Robin Hood. I was reading Hood. RH today got smoked. Earnings after hours with the tariff stuff got absolutely wrecked. Robin Hood. Similar daily setup. So if this can hold this 36-ish level. Let me just throw it on here so I don't lose it. So this can pull back to these 36s and then do something, a RVO. What was that ticker? AVGO? There we go. So if it can pull back and then do something like this, where it chops around for a few days with a flat bottom base and fall through daily, something like this, if we see this line looking left, daily support, and if we get that right here, chops around between like 40 and 36, I like that. Jersey Mike looking at Arab for a T+1. Volume definitely dried up there today. Quite a bit underwater. Looking at this volume profile over here, it looks like it exhausted quite a bit in the 7 to 8 range. I think there's a few too many underwater for that one. It's not close enough to the highs for me. Cores. I remember trading this. This could be another one where it starts to fail sub 7 and you get like a move to 5. It could get hit. Just so many names like this, it's hard to pinpoint. Starbucks got whacked. Like Apple today got absolutely smoked. It's down like 10%, 9%. Look at that move after hours. Down to $200. This thing was at 260, 60 points on 200. Like on 240. What is that? It's 25% off of 240. That's insane. I might have to start wiring in some more to that long-term account. Excuse me. Heard about that in the news. Which one are you talking about there, Flashnet? What was I talking about when you mentioned that? Hood, but I thought you meant RH. Gotcha. ENTG. There's another nice setup. I'm just seeing it now. You've got this big flat bottom there at like 95. And whoop. 95 break, couple days. You'd had to have some patience. It didn't even get hit in after hours. It was entirely in that gap down. Just crazy. I'm going to do just a couple more pages of these, my fader scan. This is just entertaining for me. I've never seen this many. With Arab, when it exhausts itself day one, you mean longs are bagged and shorts are able to get their covers? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at when I pull up something like Arab. Um, when I'm looking at like APVO, for example, you got this parabolic, shorts are winning, it grinds them back, but a lot of time, like this is after hours when it's grinding them back. So most shorts are in there holding the close, and then after hours is, it's not regular market hours, so shorts aren't really worry about it. Then you get this big gap up. So now everyone from over here, the average short seller is VWAP, the average long is VWAP. So now all of pre-market, it's holding over that VWAP level. Shorts are worried. Market hasn't opened yet, but they're worried because, like, put yourself in their shoes. You're short at 240. Early pre-market, this thing runs to 550. You're down $3 a share, over 100%. Here, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., most shorts are looking, you're down 50, 60 cents, which isn't great, 20%, but, you're battling. And then you get this offering, whether you scale in, whether you're relieved now that you're finally in the money, and then it starts to grind back, market opens, and sideways all day. And this 240 level is today's VWAP and is day one VWAP. So shorts are in there from 240 as well today. So if this is at $2 right now, that's shooting distance between 240, 250. So if it starts to break and build through that, I don't see why it wouldn't squeeze. The offering risk is out of the way, and it's holding up. But with something like Arab, shorts are in here from $6, and this thing's trading at $4. So for shorts to even be worried from this high volume day, it needs to be over 6. And you can see the big volume profile level here at 7. So shorts are already squeezed up over here. They weren't comfortable where you get an entry and it fades right to lows. Arab, they would have gotten an entry, it fades, squeezes them out, and then fades off. And this is after hours when it's fading off. So they're not really thinking and worried about that. So I think if I was in there, if I shorted this parabolic, I would have gotten squeezed here. If I shorted this parabolic, I would have been happy. I would have got squeezed right here. So I try to put myself in the shoes of the shorts that I'm trying to squeeze on that T+1. So I think a pop back up into like 6, I think would get sold into. I think there's a bunch of longs that were buying these breakouts up here and are just getting slammed. Now, if this were to start to consolidate and build slowly, I'd play a breakout on it over like a multi-day consolidation, but I'm not looking at this one for like a quick bang bang squeeze. SPWH, I think, was the same kind of thing. Daily, next day drops off, no volume. VWAP 180. You got some exhaust here, $2. So if this was to break and build over 2, you might get a little bit of a buy-in. But again, 160 to 2 is a bit harder. It's not as close. Any other large cap dailies that kind of look similar to those support breakdowns I've been looking at? Anything I'm missing? It's just that thought that there could be that one trade. I don't go through all the pages of scans, and then there's that one setup that could make the day tomorrow. That's what keeps me flipping through this thing. I'm only at page 18. Volume's getting pretty low on these, though. Okay. OSRH was a little runner today. Didn't really do much. QBTS had a 424 come out. It didn't really do much today either. DATS still hasn't broke that $3. RGC? Remember that one? $20 level looks like could get hit. Probably worth keeping Tivik on here. I mean, it is a runner. The way it trades is a bit wonky, but... So not a ton of like those GUR style setups. Reddit, MU, all those types. Dollar Tree, probably the closest to it. But I think that's a ways away. If it pulls, I'd like to see it do like this kind of daily structure. Right here, where it chops, fading, and then eventually breaks. I'd like to see something like that. So I think that's a ways away, a few days, if it happens. MLGO, bit of a backside bounce there today. But this one was the same thing. Market open, just straight up move. I doubt I'm going to trade that thing. Probably no point in really watching it. ICCT, worth keeping an eye on. It's at a point in the chart where I'm not super familiar with what it's going to do next. That 540 was that big breakout daily level. So far, pushed everyone out through it and fading. I'd welcome a market bounce back up and then possibly see how Reddit reacts. But this one, it hasn't been like trending so well. It's been gaps. Like this one closed 110, gap down 104s, ripped back 113s, then gaps down 99s. Like these last few days are kind of wonky there. And Max, I doubt I'm really going to do anything with it at this point. I'll run back into 120. I might look for a backside short. BIAF is just getting too illiquid for a backside bounce. So if I were to play it, it would be like a comeback and consolidation and secondary leg. But right now, I have no real interest. TCRT, higher the better. And it'll end back where it came from eventually. GUR, I think it needs some time. We did get a straight up spike into 23s. Didn't quite get to that 24 level I was hoping. But can definitely see it's heavy on pops, especially with the look of the daily candles. You get that big wick on some meaningful volume. Arab, possible T+1. SPWH, recent runner, sideways, see if it breaks and builds through 2. MU, any and all pops back towards 85s. Dollar Tree, 60 breakdown. This one I was getting mixed up with APVO and Arab. We were talking about this one. Not really looking for a squeeze on this one. It's just a recent runner. Not liquidity trap. I got it mixed up with APVO. I misspoke. But just a recent runner, recent percent gainer, and just keeping it on watch, see where it goes next. APVO, possible liquidity trap through 250s. Hood, see how this one reacts off this 36 level. Ideally doesn't happen tomorrow. Gets a pullback, consolidate, and then choose its next direction. Tivik, kind of a wonky one, but percent gainer. I'd put this one in the same basket as Arab. Just recent runners, recent percent gainers, trading volume. See what happens with them. OSRH daily is similar to IBO. So IBO, yes, it faded off and bounced a bit. It ran after hours and then ran pre-market. So I don't think they were really, like, you couldn't really capitalize on them. OSRH, midday runner, gapper and pre, pulls back, consolidates, and goes. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. If you trade it, have a plan, stick to your risk. If it works, lock into some profit targets. If it doesn't work, cut it. Trade your trade plan. It's just it's a setup I wouldn't feel bad about missing, and I don't think that there's a great edge to it. But I see what you're looking at. It makes sense. So as long as you have a plan and stick to it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that trade. But I think that's about all I got for today. Doesn't look like anything A+, like this is the one, like I was going into today or the prior day. Oh yeah, and I was gonna add QSG as well for that possible 5 breakdown. Looks weak. And then with the China backwind, tailwind of this thing, if 5 breaks and stays heavy, I think this could definitely just unwind. So, alrighty, thank you guys for stopping in. I will hop on the Investors Underground Sunday scan this weekend, so keep an eye out for that on Sunday. Those of you in IU, I will see you in the room in the morning, and the rest of you, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you later. Peace.